Okay, Slamdance interview number 2. This man should need no introduction, but I will have him introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Johnno Wilson.
And today you are here with which film?
Wrong guy.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to talk a bit about your history. I want to start off with something crucially important. I know you're a golf aficionado.
Yes.
So, are you ever able to take your talents, like let's say, I know you work out a lot, I know you go to the gym a lot. How much of that actually plays into being an actor? Like, how often does that help to get you cast? Because believe it or not, I think that might help.
Well, I haven't actually been cast for something with golf, per se. However, for me, golf is a really meditative sport, so it kind of lets me get out of the weeds of the industry and let my mind wander, so it helps creatively. And then in terms of working out, I think, your body is an instrument. And so if it's in the best shape it can be in, health-wise, you're going to perform better because you have better control over your faculties.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Oh, it totally does, actually.
Yeah.
I know you went to Georgetown University. Interesting fact, he has a BA in English and French. Now, here's interesting. You are a professional actor. How's that working out for you with the BA in English? I always wonder, why did they get the BA if they're a professional actor?
Well, you mentioned I went to Georgetown, and it's a tough school to get into.
Yes, it is.
A lot of pressure to do well academically. And being there at the time that I was there, I didn't really find a lot of people who were saying, I'm going to become an actor. It wasn't like NYU. You know, everyone was either going to go into politics or work on Wall Street. So I think I was, frankly, a little scared to say what I really want to do with my life is be an actor. But at the same time, I wanted to major. Should I wait for that to go by? Yeah. At the same time, I felt like I wanted a major that could be applied to many different things.
Sure.
And I thought, studying English and literature, and, I studied the expatriate writers, Ernest Hemingway, for example, F. Scott Fitzgerald. And then French, you might not think it comes in handy, but I was on a show called I Love That For You, and they gave me a script, and I had about a chunk of dialogue that was in French. And when I got on set for a rehearsal, they said, by the way, we didn't even ask, do you speak French? I said, honey, I'm a French minor from Georgetown University. I got it covered.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Even more cool, you were an anchor at Georgetown TV.
Yeah.
Look at that, man. Now tell me
good.
about that, because I'm like, that was way long ago, but I'm like, that had to be an interesting experience, because like you're younger then, you're not where you're at right now. So what was that like?
That was a way of like scratching the being on camera itch while being at Georgetown. I felt like, all right, I'm on camera, but I'm doing journalism about things that are going on at the school.
Yes.
So it's more respectable, it's it's closer to a business than the creative arts. So it was great. I did it once a week. I had my headlines. I played hard to the camera. It was just me in this little area called Bulldog Alley.
Yes.
And I would record on the camera and then sit down and read the news. And then I'd go work out at the gym and I'd be on the TV and I'd be like, anybody seeing this? Anybody,
Oh, look at that. And I do know that you have written since then. And so I'm curious, because most of the time you spend doing acting. And so how often do you get a chance to write anything at all or write projects now?
Well, I'm working on 3 features right now. One is just in the pitch stage, and we're pitching that around town. The other 2 we're in the 2nd and 3rd drafts of.
Yeah.
And then I wrote a sketch show that was on Amazon Prime. And that, again, was just something, you can't sit around and just wait for auditions. You have to create things for yourself. And, that was just really a way of expressing my sense of humor that wasn't going to be noted by a production company or a studio or anything. So,
you betcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been said, and I know this firsthand because I used to work with my partner, oftentimes a better actor becomes a better actor because of the fact that they have wonderful support at home. You're very fortunate that your better half actually was found on a set of yours.
Yes.
So in case none of you know this, they actually were on a set together playing ex-wife, ex-husband, and then he married her. And it wasn't so long ago, and yes, I want to know, how do you get on People Magazine? Front cover, People Magazine. How does that happen? Because I want to know.
Because my wife is the most talented person in the world.
Yes.
She was an icon to so many people who watched Disney when she was on That's So Raven, Annalisa Vanderpool. She played Chelsea. And I think that I honestly think about the People magazine of it all. I think people love to see love.
Yeah.
And I do think that it's a pretty cool story that we have, that we met playing ex-spouses and now we're real life spouses.
Yes.
So it's a cool full circle thing.
And we talk a lot about when you get settled down and you're in the industry, we're always hustling all the time. And so balance is always important. So how do you maintain a proper balance between at home and on set life so that things stay perfectly balanced?
My wife is the smartest person I know. Because she's been in the industry for so long, she really helps with perspective, with setting perspectives and setting, not just setting goals in career, but setting goals in life, and understanding that the thing that means most in the world is your family, your partner, your home life. And then the career is the second most important thing.
Very, very nice. If I were to ask you to tell all of us, what is the difference between her creative talents and yours?
Man, I think she has more raw talent than I do. Easy. I think I maybe have a little bit more drive.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
We shall have to ask the wife about that.
Yeah.
Stay tuned on that one. I know that your first role was done in 2011. You were in a production called J. Edgar. If I were to ask you, that actor back in 2011, is that actor still here? How have you evolved between then and now? Meaning, if you go back and look at that role, what do you see?
Oh, wow. I mean, I was just happy to be on a set.
Sure.
I just thought it was cool to be on a set. And I had no idea how this business worked. I didn't have any connections or anything. I didn't know anybody out here. I worked in consulting for 3 years after college.
Okay.
And I was doing some things on the side in DC, and my best friend had moved out here, and we used to shoot short films together growing up, and he was like, why don't you just come out here and give it a try? And so I quit my job and moved out. So when I did, I was a featured extra in J. Edgar. And
yes.
I think it's just like when you put yourself in a situation and you've been there before, it allows you to really grasp what it means mentally, and when you can picture something, you can accomplish it. So it was great to be on a set, to see how the makeup and costumes and everything worked, and it was just the very first step of being on set and having a bunch of lines a reality, as opposed to, being an extra.
I totally get it. Okay, this is more of a teaching question, because I'd like to ask this because there's probably a million actors that are out there that might watch this. You've been on things like Modern Family, Curb Your Enthusiasm, obviously on the Disney Channel. Almost all actors want to get to that level of success. So they're always asking themselves, is it luck? Is it talent? Is it knowing people? Give us a step, meaning if you're an actor right now and you're listening to this in this climate, by the way, in 2025, is there a golden key, so to speak, to get you in the door in that direction?
I mean, yes, I think you have to have talent. I think you have to have a real desire for it. Those two things are necessary. I think you need to constantly be trying to improve and putting yourself in uncomfortable situations that are going to eventually make you better.
Yeah.
So a lack of fear, really. And when you put those things together and you just keep nailing those down, when the opportunity presents itself, you'll be ready.
Very, very nice. Now, do you ever pinch yourself when you're there? Because I can only imagine what it's like, because everybody knows Curb Your Enthusiasm. In fact, I'm interviewing Richard Kind, Curb Your Enthusiasm. So when you're there, how do you keep yourself grounded and not become starstruck or not become like, wow? I imagine it's very surreal.
It is. I mean, you're there to do a job.
Yes.
And you're there because you're capable of doing the job. So just trust in your abilities, be present, and do the job.
Yeah.
Don't go out of your way to try to say, Larry, I love Seinfeld. It's like, yeah, everybody loves Seinfeld.
Yes.
Yeah. You're there to do a job, to make this episode of this show better or as good as it can be, and just trust yourself and let it fly.
You betcha. On the production side of things, I know you've done 5 projects. I'm always curious to ask someone, why do producers produce? And I know that might sound like a silly question. Most people don't know what a film producer does, for one. So why is this of interest to you?
I grew up I was kind of like a math guy growing up. I was very good at math.
Sure.
And I liked when puzzle pieces fit together. When you could figure out that this plus this is going to equal this. And I think that it's great to be an actor, but you don't really have any control. You can only control yourself.
Yeah.
And I like to say, let's get these people together. Let's have this location. I like to have, it feels like it's a more tactile thing. Like I can really get my hands on it as opposed to just saying like, all right, you know the lines, you know what you're trying to do. Let's see what happens,
That makes perfect sense. When I looked at your resume, I saw this production called Cat Psychologist, and I couldn't help myself. I'm like, Cat Psychologist? What's that all about? I feel like, what? I watched this, and I thought, I have to ask you about it.
You found that?
It's on your IMDb. And then I went ahead and I clicked on it, and I was like, let me ask him more about it.
Oh, gosh. I mean, listen, when you move out, when you first start, you're just trying to shoot stuff.
Absolutely.
So you're trying to shoot stuff, and you're trying to get stuff on your IMDb. And I'll be honest, there are many things on my IMDb that I wish I could get rid of because they're just silly sketches that are out there in the ether somewhere. But that was just a fun sketch that I did with a buddy of mine who I was doing improv with at the time. Yeah.
Yes. Now on the comedic side of things, so I thought I read somewhere where you said, I know that you do voice impressions or impersonations, but you don't want to be that guy who ends up doing all those different impressions.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I talk about is how hard comedy is as a sell, whether it's in film, whether it's on stage, etc. So for you personally, what do you think makes comedy successful for you in terms of when you're on stage?
I think I approach comedy from a place of joy. I think that, I feel like I was put on this earth to make people have at least a moment in their day that's a little happier, a little more joyful. So if I can get on stage or somebody recognizes me from one of the impressions I've done or something that I've been in and they say that part made me just die laughing, that's all I want. I grew up, all I wanted to do was go to Blockbuster and get Dumb and Dumber because it just made me laugh so much and it was like getting a little piece of gold that I could watch over and over again and laugh. And it's like, if my family was having a rough time or someone felt sick or whatever, you pop in something like Dumb and Dumber and all that goes away. I think laughter is the greatest thing in the world.
Absolutely. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, of course, about your role in the movie. So how did you get involved with the movie in the first place?
Well, Brett Moline, who wrote and directed and came up with this idea, has been a dear friend of mine for 10 years. We started doing improv together. Yeah. And so we've always just helped each other with stuff, whether it's reading each other's scripts or whatever. And he said, Johnno, I have a short that I want to shoot. I said, I'm in. And he was like, do you even want to hear what it's about? I was like, no, I know it's going to be great. I'm in. What do you need from me? Where do you need me? Let's go. Yes. Yeah.
Now, the interesting part, without giving too much away about the wrong guy, is that your character comes in the 11th hour, so to speak. And what's interesting is that he does, the main character, played by Brett, seems to do this total transformation based upon you coming in and making him realize, maybe I am that guy, which I find so interesting. Yeah. I just watched you. One of the nicest parts about your performance is you come in, you do your job effectively in 4 minutes, it feels like, and I'm like, you just left a lasting impression. You play off each other very, very well. I'm sure you know that. Yeah. And it's a beautiful film. It's only 5.5 minutes long, and I'm like, it's really, really cool. It is. I'm very impressed, I have to say. You did very well.
Oh, thank you. I was nodding with you because I was like, yeah, I'm impressed too. Brett is amazing. Brett knows. He hits it out of the park every time.
He does. And you guys do work very, very well together. I can see the chemistry there. I also know that you have 6 upcoming projects. Is there anything you can tell us about those?
I just shot a show in Vancouver called The Vince Staples Show for Netflix.
Nice.
I think I'll be going back to shoot another episode at the end of the month.
Okay.
I'm very excited about this summer season 2 of Twisted Metal that's coming out for Peacock.
Okay, gotcha.
And I'm really excited about that because I really got to not only be funny, but I have some crazy fight scenes and things like that. So nice. It's gonna be a crazy second season of Twisted Metal, and everybody should gear up for it.
Now, I know Brett's not here, so maybe I could ask you, are we gonna have a Wrong Guy too?
Well, I will say this, and I'm sure he will tell you too, he has already written a feature-length script for Wrong Guy. So I hope this isn't a spoiler, but the end of the short is really the jumping off point for the future.
Ah, nice. That's what I thought. Okay. This young man I've been talking to is Johnno Wilson. He can be found on IMDb, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Any other place we can find you?
Find me on TikTok too.
Ah, you are
Yeah.
on TikTok.
Everything is JOHNNO Wilson.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.